Hey, what's going on, people? This video is about growing up in a cult commonly known as Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, so anyone that don't know who Jehovah's Witnesses are, they're the pesky God squad. They will knock on your door, anybody's door. They will try to lure you into their religion stroke cult. They heavily rely on literature such as Watchtower and Awake magazines, which they distribute at the doors and in town centres. Once they've got you on board or their claws in, they will do more home visits. They will get you to come to the Kingdom Hall, pray to Jehovah, and then Armageddon won't kill you. So, growing up, okay, I never grew up with my mother due to abusive situations. I grew up with my dad and my stepmother for more abusive situations. When I was a good boy, I could go to my nan's at the weekends in my younger years. Throughout my teens, I was back and forth living at my nan's. When I was an unwanted child. Then later on in my 20s, throughout my 20s, I was back and forth to my nan's. I had a lot of love for my nan. My nan made up for the absent mother. Being my mother was an alcoholic, my nan would replace that absent mother and absent father, to be honest. She would buy me the toys I wanted. She would order sweets, bake cakes together. We would go to Basildon together, Corringham, Stamford, really good memories. Okay, so prior to this, my nan had gone through a really abusive relationship with one of her son's dads, Colin, God bless his soul. Colin was very violent and abusive to my nan, so it got to the point my nan had to stand up for herself. So she grabbed one day one of those the fire pokers and went to rain it down on his head. Her son, I believe Curly, God bless his soul, grabbed the poker and prevented it from hitting Colin. Colin left short after, I think, and never returned. He never did return, so my nan was left to raise 3 kids by herself. 2 boys and 1 girl. Okay, so my nan said one night things had got too much and she prayed to Jehovah. She said, Jehovah, please help me, and from that day he did. So she classed herself as a Jehovah from then. She then became a witness. She then got one of my uncles involved. That uncle was a schizophrenic, I believe. That's the one that's passed away. And he was all over the place. He was hitting women. He got with a black lady in London, lived there with her, beat her up. 3 brothers beat him up, chased him out of London. He moved back to Essex. So he was kind of all over the place, plus with the alcohol. My mum obviously was an alcoholic, so she wasn't going to be a witness as much as she talked about it. And then you had my other uncle. He married a woman. He turned to the religion. He married a woman. They had 3 children together, and she left him. She left the country, went to live in another country, leaving him with the 3 kids to raise them. Okay, so I believe he stayed in the religion for a long time. He did come out at one point when he met a worldly woman or something, and then he went back in, and I think he's been in it ever since. Now, so that's the kids' situation there. Living with my nan, staying with my nan, there was, as much as she's loving, very caring lady, she's a very gullible lady. So it's easy to manipulate her, control, dictate in ways. 3 examples, she paid £150 for Sky TV to be installed, and an instalment was free. So somebody conned her there. She paid £90 for a VHS video recorder when they weren't the thing no more. And a guy turned up saying he was one of her son's friends from prison, and he had a van full of carpets and did she want to buy one? So she went to have a look, bought the lot, put them all in the spare room. I turned up my nan's one day questioning why you've got all these carpets. She said, explain the situation. I said, what are you going to do with them all though? She said, I'm going to give them out as presents to people. Okay, so my nan is very, very gullible. So she took this faith on. I'm not dissing her faith in any way whatsoever, but she liked to try and indoctrinate others. If, as a kid, it was always a threat of being shunned. It was always a threat of Armageddon's coming. Armageddon will kill your babies, your family, your loved ones. It was a very abusive situation looking back now. How much, if you didn't behave or play the game how they wanted, you would be, imagine as a young child growing up thinking God wants to kill you. I always remember asking my nan as a little boy, it says in your scriptures that you must love your children. You must love your parents, sorry. I said, about my parents. I said, my mum tried to drown me. I said, my dad beats me up. I said, my stepmom abuses me. I said, what about my situation? She went, no, not your situation. So even then I could see she was bending her religion to suit her needs, okay? So it worked out for my nan. It's, to this day she's a witness. It really did work out for her. But anyway, my messed up uncle, he had a few children. A couple of different mothers, like I said, the violent one. After leaving the dark-skinned woman, he got with a witness, and they had a baby together. Now, when I met this woman, I knew something wasn't right. Something just clearly wasn't. The energies were really weird with this one. Well, one day I'm chilling with my cousin in Grays. She said, "Do you know about the abuse of our young cousin?" I said, "No." So I went to meet my older cousin. I said, "Do you know about the abuse of our younger cousin?" "No." I had to tell him about it. And then said to my nan, "Nan, what do you know about the abuse?" "It's nothing to do with you. It's only Jehovah can judge. You're not to judge." Right, okay. So I feel my nan and my uncle will kind of sweep that under the carpet a bit. Now it turns out the woman he's got with, had the baby with, has been sexually abusing my very young cousin. Now, masturbating him. He's gone to school. This is how the story came out. And he started playing with himself in a room in a class full of children. The teacher then asked, "Why are you doing that?" He replied, apparently, "This is what my mum does to me at home." So obviously he's pulled out of class. I think social services got involved. And when she was questioned, she said, this is her reply apparently, "I was just preparing him for what women are going to do to him when he's older." Okay, now this little boy, my cousin, went into care. He was returned at 15 years old. I think he came out of care. Most of his time was in care, his childhood. She would see him once every month. She still remained a Jehovah's Witness. And nobody in my family disowned this woman. This hurt. This really hurt. Being an abused child. I've got two other female cousins who were taken away in my childhood due to abuse. Apparently the abuse was so severe with them two that they both went to live in separate counties, so not to interact with each other. Okay, child abuse really winds me up, so that hurt me. Okay. Now, because I'm telling a few people in the family, my uncles then turned up to beat me up. The way he flew at me and tried to attack me in my nan's front room. Okay, so I'm ready to defend myself. My nan's clocked that. She's got in front screaming, "Stop it, stop it. He has no right to tell anyone. It's my boy, it's my boy." Now, he stayed in a relationship with this woman. With the woman that sexually abused his son. Okay, do you see what's wrong with this family? Okay, I hurt. I really hurt. Now, to be eating lunch with your nan and that woman walks in, says hello to her, sits down to eat her lunch, and you're sitting there and thinking, "I don't have a cousin because of you." Okay, that hurts. That really does hurt. And like I said, my family didn't disown her. So what? Are they enabling that behaviour? Are they condoning that behaviour? It's something that's always rolled me for a very, very long time. Okay? My uncle, he had 3 kids. The one that's still alive. One of them moved to the other end of the country. One of them raised a little girl who never really come out of the flat much. I took her to the park once and she just stood there looking at the park. I said, "Aren't you going to play?" She said, "No, I don't like playing." I thought that's a bit weird. I said, "What do you play with the children at school?" She said, "I don't play with children, they're immature." I thought that was very, very strange. Okay. The other child my uncle had was a son. Obviously we were quite close at one point in life, both not having mothers. But he did have a father. His father was there from him. He never had birthdays, Christmases, Halloweens, firework nights, Easters, New Year's, anything like that, because no Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate these. So looking back on that now, I see it as abuse. We both, like I said, grew up without mothers, made mistakes. He went on to get with a girl who turned out to be a bit mad and stabbed him twice in the arm. He ended up a single dad. As punishment, she went and basically had a few people in a local kebab shop as payback. Social services, she wasn't allowed near the child, said that, and he raised the child himself. And later on in life, I believe she has contact with the child. So they're all messed up situations in my family. Obviously my mum tried to harm me as a child, so she never went to the faith. She used to talk about the faith a lot. Jehovah's Witnesses are very strange people. There's a lot of insecurities there. They don't like worldly people. I've attended the hall a few times, the Kingdom Hall, and they very surround you. They do role plays, try and get you to act out things. It's very childish in my opinion. Now, I believe it's 130,000 witnesses go to this afterlife that they talk about. Now, if you don't convert, Armageddon's going to kill you. But the strange thing I just don't get about that is a lot more than 130,000 Jehovah's Witnesses. So it just seems odd. They call it the truth. I don't see much truth in that religion, but it works for them, I suppose. But yeah, that's the situation with that. Yeah, another thing I want to talk about is the 2-witness rule. Anyone that knows about witnesses, if a child makes allegations of abuse, unless there's another adult present witnessing and telling them this is what happened, I think, or 2 adults, the child is not believed. No matter what allegation is or how high the level of sexual abuse is, they need a 2-witness rule. Okay, people need to look into that. Google the 2-witness rule. It basically protects elders, okay, brothers and sisters in the hall, from being made to pay the price for abuse allegations. There's a lot of stories on the internet that tell you they won't work with police. They do not cooperate with police, the elders. The more I read, there's a lot of abusive situations there. It's not a religion I understand. I've debated it so many times with the family members. They're right, nobody else is. If you don't agree or you do anything wrong, they will shun you. Shunning you is anything from completely disowning you to making other family members not like you. It's very cult-like. It's very strange. There's something I can't talk about at the moment due to a legal restriction, but my nan allowed something to occur which has absolutely broken my soul. And that was only because I spoke on the abuse and I dared have the balls to shun my nan and my family due to the abuse situations and then not being too fussed about that. Okay? Nobody likes it when I talk out. People generally shut me down. They have my poetry removed. They have my verses removed. They flag everything. Like I said, I've been in jail for poetry. I've been banned for poetry and rap. There's absolutely everything. I lose so many sites. I've lost so many sites over the years. It's an absolute joke. But I will not ever stop telling the stories. These are true stories. And most things I tell you can be backed up by social service evidence. Okay? Now, I suppose that's about it I want to talk on a moment. But if anybody's a Jehovah's Witness, is picking up on a few things that I've said here. If anybody's going through similar abuse, ex-witnesses, got abuse stories, things they need to get out of, don't hold them demons inside you, okay? It's a very dark religion, and I know you're taught not to speak outside of to the worldly people, but at the end of the day, you cannot let abuse like this occur. I'm standing up and speaking for myself and other children in my family. There's others I could speak about. All the children have grown up warped somehow. Okay, there's a couple there's hope for maybe, but generally all the kids have got some kind of issue. And they reflect things I've seen growing up as a child. They reflect things that have happened to other children in my family. Now, kids don't act a certain way unless they are brainwashed. Okay? And that's my story.